Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2023 Panda Awards. Please put your hands together for your host, Cheeky the Panda! Hello and welcome to my first ever Games Awards ceremony, where I give out silly awards to games that I played over the year, as well as brush up on my animation skills. Now obviously I don't have any physical awards to hand out to the developers, so if you do happen to be one of the winners, then feel free to draw a pair of boobies on your box cover in celebration. And to all the naysayers who question the legitimacy of these awards, I simply have this to say. Come on! If Jeff Keighley's allowed to give out his silly awards, then so am I. I am often reminded by my peers that I'm a very difficult person to please. It's something that comes with the whole pretending to be cool thing that's afflicting all millennials. However, every now and then, a game does hit me right where I live, hard enough that it breaks my otherwise cool exterior. The Forgotten City comes to mind, a game that provided hours of fiercely engaging dialogue. Slay the Princess, on the other hand, a much more recent entry to the list, delivered an abstract story that left much to the imagination. But I think the game that left the most food for thought this year was none other than Children of Silent Town, a little indie title that explores the characters of an isolated town subject to the effects of generational propaganda, something that I personally find to be very relevant to modern society given all the demagoguery present from recent geopolitical events. The level of violence is at an all-time high these days, and that fact is no truer than in video games. Now obviously we have the usual suspects for this award, such as Maneater or Black Mesa, but the recent influx of psychotic sociopaths have somewhat raised the bar, and in order for one to distinguish themselves from the rest of the crowd, it is necessary to think outside of the box and escape the monotony of your average Monday office drama. And so with that in mind, I present the Moopsie Pet Store Owner Award for the most unnecessarily sadistic playable character to Cult of the Lamb. Way to go, you fluffy little psycho, and may you murder your way towards world peace. When it comes to gameplay mechanics, every developer has their own comfort zone, but every so often this can develop into an unhealthy obsession, resulting in mechanics being shoehorned into areas that really feel completely out of place. Detroit Become Human was a frontline contender for this award, as the only thing that could stop David Cage from beating on the QTE horse is several concrete walls and a restraining order. But I'm gonna instead give this award to Aliens Dark Descent, a game that sabotages both its tactical stealth and fast-paced action elements by handcuffing them together and forcing them to swim in the same kiddie pool, via its rigid and completely unnecessary squad-based movement system. As most of you already know, weirdos such as myself rarely experience feelings or emotions, partly because I'm a soulless heathen with a lump of coal for a heart, but mostly because I've been desensitized to such fickle things, having spent most of my youth interacting with strangers on the internet. So you can all probably understand why I would be willing to put a premium on games that invoke anything resembling human emotions. That being said, I was pleasantly surprised this year as we had quite a tight race. Endling, Extinction is Forever had me binge watching Vixen videos on TikTok, while Opus Echo of the Star song finally taught me the value of having friends. But the real winner of this award is none other than Omori, a game that explores such themes as mental trauma and self-healing while tearing out my heartstrings with an industrial crane operated by an orangutan. Good job, developer Omocat, for causing the latest global shortage of tissue boxes. Good writers are rapidly becoming an endangered species these days, so it's not surprising to find a few hacks MacGyver their way behind a writer's desk. And while the occasional schlock won't make any headlines, once every generation the gaming world is blessed with a script so bizarrely awful that it would take the entire collective scientific community their entire lives to figure out the combination of crazy pills, poor decisions, and incompetence that led to the eventual dumpster fire. And this year there is one clear winner, so I am awarding the Stephanie Meyer Coloring Book Award for most bizarrely bad writing to Moon Love Alternative, a game whose lead writer decided to kneecap both the tone and pacing of the script with a baseball bat before spending 20 hours boring the jury to death during his own defense trial. For those of you who don't know, I roughly play one naughty game for every 3 regular games. Now that might not seem like a big ratio, but keep in mind I got over 400 games in Steam alone, so let's just say I am a man of culture. But before the entire internet decides to nail me to a cross in the deepest circle of hell, I would like to say in my defense, my parents did send me to an all-boys Catholic high school as some sort of alternative to corporal punishment, and there are only 3 known ways to survive that kind of torture. You either learn to be gay, take your chances with a hot teacher, or consume copious amounts of naughty material. You can probably guess which of the 3 options I picked. However, despite my unmatched expertise in this field of study, the sheer number of contestants this year made it rather difficult for me to single-handedly select the winner. And so, after several long nights of thoughtful discussion with the gentleman downstairs, we have unanimously concluded that Karen's Prison is the most deserving of this award. A game that doesn't quite understand how the criminal justice system works, but would probably do a better job at prison reform than any modern US administration. Communication is important when it comes to interactive media, which is why there's a special place in hell for video games that purposely do a bad job communicating key mechanics to players and forcing them to spend precious hours bashing their head against a wall hoping for a miracle. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk comes to mind, a game in which a graffiti artist fulfills his dream to repaint the entire city while violating every law known to man, including the laws of physics. You would think that given all the complex platforming present in the game, that somebody on the development team would have pointed out the need to clearly indicate which ledges are traversable, but while being lost in a shopping mall for several hours can feel like babysitting a bus full of angsty teens with ADHD, the true winner of this award is none other than Tunic, a Souls-like isometric hack and slash whose developers decided that hidden paths in a game with an engine that does not allow for manual camera control was not quite enough to torture the real hardcore players, and that the only way to indiscriminately mess with everybody was to purposely replace all the text in the game with a made-up language. And with that, the year of 2023 finally comes to an end. Hopefully the world of 2024 will take a different turn for once and have fewer ongoing wars than its predecessors, or at the very least bring back affordable energy so that we no longer have to burn our household pets for domestic heating. Happy New Year!